Social media has noticed an interesting connection between Bray Wyatt's new alter ego, Uncle Howdy, and a former WWE superstar. Has it actually revealed the person behind the mask? We're going to talk on that. Plus, WWE has interest in bringing another former WWE talent back to the company. Cody Rhodes' agent is fired amid misconduct allegations. Shinsuke Nakamura is traveling back to Japan to work for a Japanese company for a dream match. We've got details on that. Emma is back in WWE. We've got confirmation on her roster status. Sasha Banks comments on rumors suggesting she's still under contract with the company and in negotiations to sign a new deal. Elektra Lopez, we've got an interesting update on a trademark filed by WWE, and Seth Rollins reveals his new blonde look. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of WWE. So let's start off talking once again about Uncle Howdy. We did a big breakdown yesterday on all of the details surrounding this new iteration of Bray Wyatt, possibly or certainly a connection with Bray Wyatt's new character. Of course, it closed out SmackDown on Friday. Bray Wyatt once again in the ring, saying this is the truest, purest form of himself. He's just being himself. He's no longer hiding behind a mask. And then what happened, the same thing that's happened a couple of times now, a mysterious Wyatt Mothra logo appeared on the screen. The arena went dark and we saw Uncle Howdy reveal himself and speak for the first time, calling Bray Wyatt a liar, saying he is hiding behind a mask, because quite literally the person who was talking is wearing a mask. We then had a QR code as well, which led to a plethora of different clues and teases, etc. We broke that all down in yesterday's video, so be sure to check that out. But the mystery surrounding Bray Wyatt continued at the climax of SmackDown on Friday, when Bray Wyatt continued to shed his former skin in an in-ring promo. However, he was once again cut off by a mysterious man on the Titantron, this time showing his face and officially referring to himself as Uncle Howdy. Now, the person that was talking wore a mask, and many have taken this as a reference to Wyatt's real-life uncle, Barry Windham, and he also sported an earring in his left ear. Surely there was nothing else to look at, right? Right? Well, you underestimate social media. You underestimate pro wrestling fans, because many fans have been speculating about the identity of Uncle Howdy, as well as other possible members of this hypothetical Wyatt Six faction, this fantasized Wyatt Six faction that has been referenced since before Wyatt even returned to the company. Now, take a look at this, because this is where fans are starting to put two and two together and maybe getting 72 or a different number rather than 4, but it's certainly interesting nevertheless. Fans pointed out, you can see it on the screen right there, that Uncle Howdy was wearing an earring similar to Bo Dallas. Of course, one name speculated to be part of this Wyatt Six faction is Bray Wyatt's real-life brother, and is reportedly, it had been reported by Brian Alvarez a few weeks ago, that Dallas was on his way back to WWE. Well, fans have noticed a hint that may point to Dallas actually being the man behind the Uncle Howdy mask. It was noted that Dallas wore an earring similar to the one being worn by Uncle Howdy on SmackDown on Friday. Now, given all of the subtle teases and callbacks and references in the White Rabbit teasers, it's very possible that this is not just a coincidence. We'll have to wait and see. As I just mentioned, the reason why I think people are really latching on to this, and you can see it right there, is because every kind of subtle hint and clue has been by design. There haven't been many coincidences involved in all of this. There have been incidents of outside forces and entities picking up and running with it, like the White Rabbit Records shop. They kind of weren't connected with it. They just saw that it was getting some buzz and they just kind of picked up on it. That's what it was there. But as far as people say, see, it's Bo Dallas because he's wearing a similar earring there, I think what this is an example of, in my opinion anyway, is a red herring. I think that people are taking the Wyatt Six thing too literally. As I've said before, I really don't think we're going to see a Wyatt Six faction that involves 6 different people. In my opinion, the faction is one person. It's Bray Wyatt. We have 6 personalities, 6 faces of Wyatt, as it were. I think you're going to have Uncle Howdy. I think you're going to have Wyndham Rotunda, which is the guy, the real version of Bray Wyatt that we keep seeing on television every single week. I do think The Fiend will come back. I do think the old version of Bray Wyatt with the rocking chair, the Wyatt family version of Bray Wyatt, will come back, and there could be Uncle Harper involved in there as well. We could even get Firefly Funhouse Bray. That's 6 already, and possibly you might have some other people in there involved. But I think personally, it's 6 personalities of Wyatt. I think it's similar to the movie Split with James McAvoy in. I think it's a similar situation to that, because as I spoke about previously when I broke down the Uncle Howdy appearance yesterday, I would be stunned if we ever saw Uncle Howdy in person in a ring inside of a WWE arena. The reason I say I would be stunned is because I don't see how that can work in an arena setting. I think they got away with it on Friday's edition of SmackDown because of the way it's lit. You can see it was dark lighting, and sort of a blue hue light is put on him as well to try and tie the mask together. But I believe that if this was in the cold light of day, I'm not sure how good Uncle Howdy would look. I'm still not completely sold on the look. As I spoke about previously, that mask, whilst it looks good, it's difficult to talk because the mouth doesn't move, and it's difficult to hear and understand what he's saying. And again, I looked at the earring thing as a red herring, because at no point when I watched that Uncle Howdy promo on Friday did I think, oh, that's Bo Dallas. At no point did I think that. I always thought that was Bray. It is Bray Wyatt. You cannot convince me otherwise. Unless someone comes out and says that's Bo Dallas, I'd be like, really? That's like, Colin Farrell in Batman playing the Penguin. I'd be like, really? That's him underneath there? Seriously? I can't believe it. Because I always thought that was Bray Wyatt, because it sounds like Bray Wyatt. It's very difficult for him to hide his accent. So, and even though he's under a mask, the physical shape of him, what we kind of saw, it's Bray Wyatt. Clearly, it's Bray Wyatt cutting a promo. So I never at any point thought that was Bo Dallas. Some people did. We'll have to wait and see. Bo Dallas absolutely can and probably will be involved in this storyline. I don't know if he'll be part of the faction per se. I'm not sure what he will be, but I didn't think he was Uncle Howdy, and we haven't had any confirmation that he is or isn't. So if we do get any confirmation on that, we'll talk about it here on the channel. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is it a red herring? Is it a coincidence? Is Bo Dallas involved? When will he be involved? How can he be involved? Let me know your theories in the comment section below. Speaking of returns to WWE, one person that could be on her way back is Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox, former NXT superstar, reportedly could be on her way back to WWE according to reports. Fightful Select is reporting that WWE is interested in bringing more females back into the company. In light of Emma making her WWE return, Sean Ross Sapp is reporting that WWE is interested in bringing back, quote, several women who formerly worked for the company. Among them is one who didn't get an extended main roster run before being released, that being Tegan Nox. The 27-year-old was released roughly a year ago and hasn't wrestled since then. When Fightful reached out to Nox earlier this year, she had told Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful that she was experiencing visa issues that were slowing things down for her to be able to wrestle. They hadn't heard any specifics, but they could confirm with WWE sources that the company was interested in her. Nox does have history with several females on the roster, of course. She had teamed with both Shotzi and Dakota Kai in the past, so certainly there could be a storyline where she comes back and feuds with Dakota Kai or teams up with Shotzi once again, and as they're looking to certainly flesh out that women's tag team division, that's a possibility. I was surprised, to be honest, given the fact that she is Welsh. I was surprised that she didn't return at Clash at the Castle. I would have felt that would have been a perfect opportunity for her to return then. Of course, again, being Welsh, they were in Cardiff at the Principality Stadium. It felt like a given. And she's one of these names that was released by WWE that, again, was on the main roster for 5 seconds with Shotzi, and then Shotzi split from her, and Tegan Nox was kind of left in limbo, and then she was let go. But in NXT, certainly she was featured quite a lot. She had success. She also had numerous big injuries. She tore ACLs in both her knees. So certainly there was concern about her longevity and her ability to stay healthy and stay regular in terms of in-ring competition. But Triple H has a history with her. Triple H obviously rates her. Triple H has booked her strongly in the past, so it shouldn't come to much surprise when you look at the free agents that are still out there and had previously worked for WWE and had previously worked under Triple H. Most importantly, it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that Tegan Nox is on WWE's radar. So whenever these reports come out, to be honest, expect Tegan Nox to show up on Raw or SmackDown next week. I would probably say. Again, there might be a visa situation that could slow things down, but this is WWE. This is a publicly traded billion-dollar company. They can get visas fairly quickly. They can sort all of that out very quickly, especially when you have such a big company sponsoring you in your visa process. That can certainly expedite the situation. And frankly, WWE, as mentioned, being a billion-dollar publicly traded company, they have entire departments that are focused on getting people visas from, around the world to work in the United States. So I would expect Tegan Nox to return to WWE television fairly soon. It would appear, certainly, that Triple H wants to have a return pretty much every single week at this point on every single Raw and SmackDown. We near enough get it. So, again, don't be surprised if we see Tegan Nox show up on Raw or SmackDown. Well, certainly not SmackDown because it's maybe Raw on Monday, possibly after Crown Jewel. We'll have to wait and see, but I would expect to see Tegan Nox back in a WWE ring fairly soon. Cody Rhodes. What's the update on Cody Rhodes? Well, this isn't really an update on Cody Rhodes. We are going to talk about Cody Rhodes and AEW in today's AEW news video, so be sure to check that out when it drops later today. But in terms of Cody Rhodes' representation, his agent, Brian Wittenstein, has actually been fired from his role at Hyperon Talent Agency amid allegations of misconduct. Now, Wittenstein represents both Cody and his wife, former AEW star and chief brand officer Brandy Rhodes. According to Deadline, Wittenstein left the agency after a client made a complaint about the agent's inappropriate behavior. Deadline reports the following, quote, "Details are sketchy, but according to sources, whatever Wittenstein did had made her uncomfortable. Word is that the due diligence over the sexual misconduct allegation uncovered previous instances and Wittenstein was let go. He was escorted out of the building Wednesday. Wittenstein's presence was immediately removed from Hyperon's IMDb Pro pages. In a statement to Deadline, the agency said, quote, "Brian Wittenstein is no longer an employee of Hyperon Talent Agency. We have no further comment at this time." Wittenstein himself has actually released a statement in which he said the following: "I have amicably parted ways with Hyperon Talent Agency to pursue other opportunities. I have no further comment at this time." In addition to Cody and Brandy Rhodes, Wittenstein is said to actually have represented several other wrestlers. However, it's not public knowledge who any of them were, but I can't really speculate on that. I mean, you can make up your own guesses as to who they are. You would logically think people that Cody Rhodes knows. That's how it works, but we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. Rhodes, of course, left AEW back in February time of this year, returning to WWE back at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas as the chosen opponent on the show for Seth freaking Rollins. He's been out of action, though, with a torn pectoral muscle since the Hell in a Cell show back in June, following his iconic performance inside the steel structure with his arm and chest blown up to 3, 4, 5 times the size and a giant bruise. As I mentioned, we are going to talk about Cody Rhodes' departure from AEW and the reasons he has since given for that later today, because he did speak about that on social media yesterday. So we are going to touch on that, but it's more of an AEW topic. So we'll cover that in today's AEW news videos. But as far as this, I mean, look, is it any surprise at this point? The movie and entertainment industry is seedy as anything, and WWE certainly as well. Look at Vince McMahon. It's shocking. It really is. Shinsuke Nakamura. This is such a rarity. A WWE superstar appearing in a company and wrestling for a company outside of WWE. It's incredible. It's been announced at the time of recording in the last sort of hour or so that Shinsuke Nakamura in 2023 will wrestle in Japan for Pro Wrestling Noah against the soon-to-be retiring Great Muta. This is really incredible. Noah released the following statement about an hour or so ago, saying, "On New Year's Day, fans will see Pro Wrestling's biggest dream match in 2023. Abema presents Noah the New Year 2023 at Nippon Budokan, the Great Muta versus Shinsuke Nakamura." Nakamura has since posted on Instagram saying this is a miracle, and it was certainly one of those ones that when I saw it, I took a step back and went, whoa, that kind of came out of nowhere. It's great. I mean, already Triple H, Paul Levesque, Stephanie McMahon, and Nick Khan, they all have to sign off on it, are doing things that the previous regime would have never done. This would have never happened under Vince McMahon. I know there have been very rare instances where WWE superstars have worked for other promotions, usually as a favor back to having a talent work for them or something like that, or if it's a retirement show or a memorial show, you sometimes do see it, Bret Hart, etc. But Still, this is fantastic to see, and I would think this is, again, out of respect to the Great Muta. Of course, he is retiring next year, and Sting's going to be a part of that as well, and Shinsuke Nakamura being able to go back to Japan is fantastic. Of course, he's probably best associated with New Japan Pro Wrestling as opposed to Pro Wrestling Noah, but it's just fantastic to see. And again, it's an instance of, I know Nakamura was on SmackDown this past Friday, working with Hit Row, which is quite funny because if you put Shinsuke and Hit Row together, it makes Shit Row. That kind of tickled me. It's immature humor. But what is he really doing on television all that much recently? Not a lot. Yeah, he teamed with Hit Row Friday. Tuesday, I think he was on NXT, or the Tuesday before that, he was on NXT. Whenever they went ahead against Dynamite, he was on NXT working a match. Okay. But he's not doing all that much. He's not factored into any major storyline. So why not? You know, why? If the Great Muta is retiring, Nakamura's never going to have the opportunity to work with him again. So why not? And again, it's positive PR for WWE. It's positive for them to go, look, WWE's cooperating with talents. And WWE, have to remember as well, are openly looking to expand into all of these territories. NXT Japan is absolutely a territory they're going to be looking to go into. So it's their prerogative to make sure that they keep that Japanese, or they keep their footprint somehow in that Japanese market. Of course, New Japan, of course, Pro Wrestling now, of course, All Japan is going to dominate that Japanese market, and WWE really never has been able to really conquer Japan and really establish themselves here. Yes, they run house shows. Yes, they've done tours there, but New Japan is still the dominating force out there. And again, you've still got those other companies like Noah, like All Japan. But they're going to try and do NXT Japan, and again, it's their prerogative to maintain a healthy relationship with these companies out there, whether it is Noah, whether it is All Japan. I mean, in the past, I think they had made offers to purchase, I don't know if it was Noah, it might have been All Japan, they had made offers to purchase these companies, might have even been Stardom as well, to try and turn that into NXT Japan. I'm not sure that they're going to do that in the instance, but still, again, it makes sense to work and cooperate with other companies at this time. And it's out of respect to the Great Muta and the career that he's had, the great career of the Great Muta. So I'm really excited to see that match. It's awesome. Emma is back in WWE, and she's reacted to her return this past Friday night on SmackDown. She took to Instagram yesterday and reacted to her match on Friday, saying, quote, 5 years ago today, I was heartbroken, feeling like my dream had come to an end. Today, my heart is so full. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of support I have. You guys are the best. Now I've got some unfinished business to take care of. I'm home, baby, wrote Emma. Now, before the match on Friday, Emma's last WWE match was on October 23, 2017. It was an edition of Raw where she lost to Asuka. A day earlier, she had lost to Asuka at the TLC pay-per-view. I believe, was that when she'd actually been, released? And then she came back I don't know. It was very, very, very odd. At one point she was, there was a shoplifting. I don't know. It's just great to see her back. It really is. I thought the reaction that she got sucked on SmackDown, that was a shame. But it doesn't matter. She's back with the company, and that is what that is. WWE, when it comes to her roster status, Emma has now placed Emma back on the SmackDown roster on their website after her return, so it would appear that she is going to be a member of the SmackDown roster moving forward. Speaking of possible returns to WWE, Sasha Banks. There's been so much speculation about her contract. Dave Meltzer recently wrote that Banks was still under contract to WWE, and actually that she was negotiating a new deal for her to return to the company, prompting speculation that she's preparing to make a comeback. She was even spotted in a ring recently training, and people said, oh, is she training for a return? Banks took to social media yesterday to stir the pot herself, tweeting, quote, I hope the rumors are true, with a bunch of emojis. Again, I don't know if that is accurate. I don't know if that's a case of her just stirring the pot for the sake of it. I don't know if that's her being honest or legitimate. As I said previously, I expect Banks and Naomi to be back. A time frame on that, we don't know. She does have outside projects going on at the moment, and if her contract was set to expire this year anyway, so we could be looking at a situation whereby she's trying to negotiate a new deal that has her having a bit of a lighter schedule. I know she's very, very young, but she has a lot going on. She's part of the Star Wars universe. She wants to be making an album and appearing in films. It might be a case of her saying, well, now I've got these things going on. I want to return, but I can't make every live event. I can't make every house show. That might be a bit of a hold up in the deal. We'll have to wait and see. Elektra Lopez is back in NXT, and WWE has filed a new trademark. On October 26, WWE filed to trademark La Madrina for entertainment services. That is the nickname for Elektra Lopez. Of course, she recently returned to NXT. Prior to her return, she was paired with Legado del Fantasma, but did not move up to the main roster with them. Instead, they are currently paired with Zelina Vega, who recently stated that she is the person WWE can look to when they want to get something over. So she's getting that nickname trademark in NXT. Would appear that WWE's got big plans for her. Finally, Seth Rollins had teased a change to his look, a return to the blonde streak, and we've got a closer look at it actually because he was recently at the wedding of Sheamus over the weekend or Friday, whenever it was. But now people have got a look at it, this blonde streak, and it's not actually the blonde streak. He's not sporting that look. He's actually sporting a completely new blonde look. Lana, former WWE superstar Lana, CJ Perry, shared a photo on Twitter of 3 wrestling couples, herself and her husband, AEW star Miro, AEW's Claudio Castagnoli and his partner Sarah Amato, and of course Rollins and his wife Becky Lynch. In the photo, Rollins' new hair can be seen, and it's actually more blonde than we think. So there you go. That's the look that Rollins is going to be going with. Of course, he recently won the US Championship, and I guess we're going to see a new version of Seth freaking Rollins. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.